Impeachment chaos now rattling markets today. We'll break it down because today is a big deadline for what's going on in Iran. I just want to jump right into it. But before we do, because I know there's going to be comments all over this, I do not have Trump derangement syndrome. So that is not the case. I'm just simply showing you what is going on, how this will affect the markets. And it's this kind of rhetoric that is coming out of the administration and DJT himself right there. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary will happen tonight. So this is kind of him, I guess, in a way, trying to force the cards here, because we are talking about a deadline that is ticking in the middle of this, which really starts at 8 o'clock tonight. And we're going to find out how this plays out. Now, I want to show you what Bloomberg is looking at when they talk about the escalation breakdown that is all in the markets right now. How everybody's trying to understand this. Take a look.
At this point, it appears President Trump is not going to back down or delay his threat to hit Iranian civilian infrastructure by 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, posting here on Truth Social, saying that I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. But he also, of course, added, who knows? Of course, the president has before delayed and deferred his previous threats. And just yesterday, he did say that he felt that Iran was negotiating in good faith, even citing that he thought that Iranian officials were hampered in their communication with the U.S. over security concerns, and that's why he previously delayed this deadline before. Still, we have to pair that with reports this morning that Israel has already hit Iranian infrastructure, dozens of sites, according to reporting, as well as Axios reporting that there have been military targets hit on Karg Island. Pair that with Fox News reporting that this includes bunkers, radar station, and ammunition storage, but that loading docks were indeed spared, that we haven't seen the U.S. move into that point quite yet. So it's going to be something to watch and develop because, Lisa, as you well know, President Trump said that today it depends on what Iran does, whether or not the U.S. is going to wind down, or escalate its operations later tonight.
I don't think this is the thing to watch because this will have an impact on This is going to have an impact on global markets worldwide. We are talking about a major shift here for sure, if in fact we go into a full-scale attempt here on doing what Trump is talking about. Iranian has a response after Trump says their entire civilization will die tonight. All diplomatic channels and indirect talks have been frozen after Trump's recent threat. This is coming in from Iranian networks out there. I want to play another clip because this will go into what J.D. Vance said backing President Trump. Take a look.
We feel confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
All right, so I'm assuming he means tools of mass destruction, because that's the thing that I look at. But one thing that is happening right now, Bitcoin, of course, is sitting here and waiting, literally just waiting at 68K as things tick down tonight. We'll find out as this plays forward. Other things that you look at right here, despite this right now, U.S. stocks have still managed to avoid a major loss on the day. I was surprised at that. I kind of thought the S&P would have a lot more of a pullback. And if you look at the rhetoric that's going back between the two parties, it just seems to escalate more and more. Several weeks of weekend escalation rhetoric, all of this now followed by early week de-escalation signals. Markets are now beginning to recognize and fade the pattern if it's continued. So how do you guys think? Do you believe that there's going to be something happening at 8 o'clock tonight, or do you think Trump is simply just posturing and trying to make a deal here and it's all theater? I would love to know. I feel like this is going to be a back down. I believe that will happen. If something escalates here tonight and it gets worse, things are going to get bad in the markets for sure. Here's Kobe Easy. He has a good clarification here because it's similar to what happened during Liberation Day. That was April 2025. That was marking the bottom of where we saw the market. And if you look at some of the key things that happened during that, tariffs were imposed, a lot of countries folded, Trump threatened to invade Greenland. Europe came to the table. And then you had Trump imposing 130% tariffs on China. And that trade deal was reached. So what happens, because all those were done, what happens when a deal is not reached? Because we have not seen Trump in those waters. So how does he play? Does he, play like a bad kid and say, hey, I'm taking my ball and going home? Or does it get worse out there? Of course, there's more rhetoric coming in from Iran, I think, or someone who has launched now the Hormuz letter. This is, sometimes I wonder if this is in real life and if we're in a simulation. It just never stops. Trump tells Fox News in a phone call with Brett Baer, 8 p.m. it's happening. Trump said he would not put odds on negotiating being successful and that it is moving forward with his plans. Baer also added that Trump, if we get to that point, is there going to be an attack like we have not seen before? 8 hours until the deadline. We're going to find out, guys, here just in a few more hours of how this is going to play out. Bloomberg is trying to look at this from a different angle. Are we positioned for a taco right now? Take a look.
So on balance, it sounds like you think we're positioned for taco.
Well, I wouldn't use that phrase necessarily given the severity of the situation, but I think that the market is looking out for the risk of some kind of a peace deal or treaty at some point. I honestly think, if you survey financial markets, or at least if you survey the physical world more, Guy, actually, for the fact that we're into the 6th week of this conflict, really the impact on the real world has been relatively limited, I would say.
What? Relatively limited? Who the hell? What the? I don't know how to respond to that clip because I think there has been a pretty big impact on the world. We've seen a restructure of the global power base around energy. It's quite possibly we could be seeing the challenge on the petrodollar. You've got crypto in disarray. Stocks are down. Markets are down. Nobody knows which way is going. And I think we're at finally a fatigue level. At least that's the way I feel. I'm at a fatigue level in terms of the amount of headlines that are spewing out right now. Here's a clip that shows you what I'm talking about.
And when you look further out, let's say 6 months out, what is the options market pricing? It's not pricing a lot of fear. I think that's really important because right now investors are still saying we think this situation in Iran, it still wraps up. If that starts to change, we're going to have to see a really big flip in the term structure of the options market.
What the president does refer to when he backs off as taco, that it takes two to, well, it takes two to tango. So yeah. Iran could make it impossible.
Takes two to taco?
Takes two to taco. And it is, what day is it?
Taco Tuesday.
It is Taco Tuesday.
As you say, you can't unscramble an egg, right?
Right. I think you can put some toothpaste back in it too.
Maybe you got to really try, but
you can, but you can't. There's no way to unscramble.
Can't unkick a hornet's nest.
No, probably not.
This is why I think you get the headline fatigue. Fool me once, April 2nd, we got that whiplash. Remember, we got that Momo back up and everyone spent last year chasing that. They're not doing that again.
These people have no idea. Does everybody know? I don't understand why it's not taking this seriously. I think this is a big deal. And, okay, well. Yeah, let's go to this next clip because this next one is, I never thought I'd play an Alex Jones clip on the channel here, but we're going to give you a double dip here. Take a look.
How do we 25th Amendment his ass?
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
Yeah, if I was the Democrats, I'd stop poking Trump and messing with him. That only makes it worse. Like, you guys need to watch out. This isn't a guy acting like he's crazy. This is real.
This is disturbing. It's actually sickening. And I'm not that guy, but it's everything about this. Without a reason, an exit strategy, a plan. It's not enough that we're being lied to about it. I've been trying to say this for years. It's him.
Well, there you have it, guys. Some of his biggest proponents, including Tucker and many others, definitely not aligned. Now, if you look at what Anthony Scaramucci has said, now, granted, though, Anthony is right. He's not a Trump fan, never has been. But when you lose Tucker and Alex and, of course, John, but not John Thune and Tom Cotton, I would agree. That pretty much says it all right there. If you look at the probability of an impeachment right now before the term ends, it's setting on Polymarket at around 66%. So this is what I'm talking about. How does this play into what happens in the markets? Do we get out of this Iran situation? If we do somehow get out of this Iran situation, I can't imagine, as long as clarity gets through, that these markets are not going to absolutely rebound. If we do not get out of this Iran situation, things are going to get dire. I absolutely believe that right now. We're going to continue to cover that. Hopefully tomorrow there's still civilization out there after tonight. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.